Hey everybody, I'm Jack Hammer, and welcome to 49ers Film Breakdown. And today I've got Coach Noah Johnston with me. One of the cool things about this is that, I feel like I know quite a bit about football, but I know that I don't know everything, and so it's good to have a group of guys that you can reach out to, who can share their knowledge of the game as well. And that's one of the reasons I always like to reach out to Coach Johnston, especially when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. He's going to smarter than me when it comes to that side of it. So we've been talking a little bit recently and wanted to get together and do a breakdown of the defensive backs, especially with three rookies on the team. So today we're just going to kind of go through the 49ers game against Kansas City. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great. Excuse me. I just got back from the gym a little while ago, so I'm drinking a protein shake. I'm doing great. It's nice out here in the East Coast. Rich was talking a little cover one, got me fired up on Twitter. So
there you go. And I know you and I had a back and forth a couple days ago on some stuff from the Chargers game. So unfortunately, I don't have that one to do, but we'll do this one here, and I'm going to let you kind of tell us what you're seeing, and we'll go through this together. So we'll just start off right from the beginning here.
Okay. So we'll just have to look at and see who's out there at first, just because they start switching guys. Hold on, it's a little choppy for me. So it looks like we got Hufanga at the up high. Is it at the bottom of the screen? Is that Diamador?
No. So they've got Hufanga deep, and then you've got the bottom of the screen that looks like Dante Johnson.
Okay, so I can't see that. I just can't see the numbers. I know I can see Hufanga based on I can see his little. I can see his hair.
So that would be Lenoir at the top of the screen.
Lenoir at the top, and then the strong safety is
Tavon Wilson, and he's right there. He's right there at on the hashes at the 25 on the right side.
So all right. So we're gonna look at the young guys. So Hufanga and Lenoir, the main ones that we're looking at here. I know this is a run play because I've looked at it before.
Yeah. So the top of the screen and then deep third.
So neither of them really have responsibility on the run play outside of Hufanga. Shouldn't let anybody, get out of this, which he did. So he's where he needs to be as far as his run fit.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of coming up, making sure nobody gets past him. He's the last line of
there are some things wrong with that play, but it's not the secondary fault.
Yeah, that's Dre Greenlaw, right? Kind of stepping out. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whatever, or his eyes take him to the wrong spot there.
Yeah, he's playing pass, I think, before a run. So, all right, I believe this is a run as well.
Yeah, they're in the same spots though. Lenoir on the left and Hufanga deep. Rolling into a two deep and then.
Hold on, stop it there. Just take it back for a second because I do want to go over something and just because it's going to come up later and it's important for everyone to know. Stop it here. The safeties and the safeties in the Niners defense a lot of the times it happened on the previous play. It looks like that it's backers here, but safeties at times will have to end up playing that bubble, which is the space between the guard and the tackle. You would see it on the he's got to play a little bit there, right? Because you can see he's playing it. Oh no, I'm sorry. He's on the strong side, but I believe on the previous play the safety was on the weak side. So the safeties in the Niners defense have to be able to play the run and play that linebacker role at times because they have to play that B. They have to be able to play that B gap when they're set up in the bubble or outside of it. So you're gonna watch for that later because when the safeties come down, they have to be like an extra linebacker. They're essentially what high schools would call like a 4-4 or something akin to that.
Yeah, you're talking about over here on the Chiefs' left side, the 49ers defense's right side.
Yeah, I mean right now, I mean the safety looks like his run responsibility would be that would be called like a D gap in between it's a H back and the tackle. But if he was on the weak side, he'd have a B gap responsibility. Or if you got motion and he didn't follow, then the linebackers would shift over, and then the safety would have the B gap responsibility. So the safeties in the Niners defense at times are going to have to play B gap.
Okay. Yeah, and you can see that happen a little bit here with him moving with the motion, him stepping up towards the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and they adjust to motion differently at different times. With it, sometimes they follow, sometimes they rotate over.
Yes. Here he's rotating down to the bottom. He's going to be your outside, basically your outside linebacker on that one.
Yeah, it looks like man, he's on top. He does a good job maintaining leverage on that. I mean, if the quarterback threw the ball to the flat, he's there. I mean, see if they ran the ball, he would have B gap there. And that can get a little tricky at times, because if the offense knows its man, that's exactly what they're trying to do, is try to rub that. But so he's got to be able to work his way around that slant, especially if you do end up running a lot of man.
Yeah, and he does a good job of climbing over the inside route to keep his leverage on the running back.
Yep.
So 3rd and 4 here is going to be a passing down.
So Hufanga's up top. Lenoir's at the that's Lenoir, right? It's still at the top. It's still a little.
Yes, that was him.
Okay, that's a nice job. He's on top of that.
Yeah, because
he moves a lot better on in-breaking routes than I thought from his college film.
He's done very well. He had a nice breakup on that one in route last week. He really does.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so that's the first series of the game. This is the one where I think this is the one where we're going to see them score. So we're going to see.
So did they switch up and put Ambry in yet? Is he at the bottom?
No, he's still not in yet.
Okay. So Lenoir did a nice job there enforcing that thing out. I mean, he's not primary run responsible. He doesn't have primary run responsibility, but that's a pretty solid job at the corner.
Yeah, they get a little confused here, and you've got Hufanga. I think Hufanga is supposed to be the force player, but he gets over there late because they're not aligned properly.
Let's see. Yeah, that's an H. The defensive end, right? So that's the and that's Tyreek Hill, right? So like that's a really, like, you're going to have to be set and align yourself properly and to be able to get leverage on this, because Tyreek Hill might be the fastest player in the NFL. I mean, he's talking about racing. What's his name from Jamaica, like, who's literally the fastest man in the world. So, I mean, with that kind of speed, you absolutely need to be in position. If that had been other people running that jet sweep, that probably would have been like another. You would have probably only gotten 4 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards.
Yeah, because what they want him to do is be able to force that back up inside and let instead of just pull that to the sideline.
Yep.
And for the Chiefs, that's what they want. Is they want to get they're looking to get to the edge like they just did right there. That's their goal. You can see
they're definitely confused there with how to match that motion.
Mm-hmm. But not a bad job when you consider the speed and the fact that he had to kind of start from a little more inside spot than he wanted to.
So here's a one high look again. You're seeing more motion.
Play action. Again, Lenoir does a good job of staying up on top of that. He's got 29 helping him on that deep coverage route.
Yeah, when you're playing with a one high, like, you're as a corner, you're thinking you can give up the post because you got a post player there. You can't let a guy climb vertical and get up and get enough space on the sideline, and then you got to be aware of any square ins or digs, because you have to cover long enough so that a linebacker can get underneath it. And sometimes the linebackers don't even get underneath it. So those are the main things you're concerned about. And then obviously comebacks, but for the most part, a comeback is a hard throw to execute. So that's last on your list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can see him playing that outside leverage, really
Yep.
trying to drive him inside of the safety there. Nice. Let's jump over.
Sorry, it's a little blurry for me, so I'm just.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's all right though. I'll work with it as long as it's not blurry for the people. People that are watching, are you guys good? Can you see the film? As long as they can see it.
Yeah, if it's blurry, guys, just let us know so we can. There's not a whole lot I can do about it right now, but if there is, just let us know so we at least can try to adjust that going forward. Yeah, because it's still same group. This is the pass interference. He just gets there early.
Yeah, that was on Thomas, right?
It's on Hufanga.
Oh, Hufanga, that's right.
You've got right here in the middle of the field. That's Tyreek Hill coming from right to left, and he's open. The linebacker's not quite underneath him as much as
he gets there. He gets there a little early, and he takes it. And I thought he didn't take a great angle, on it. All he had to do was take a little bit of wider angle and just cut him off.
Yeah. Because the ball goes right over the top of both their heads.
Yep. Like he's all he has to do on that play is just he's got to come in. I think he was trying to time it to break it up, but he's got to come a little bit earlier and try to get on that top shoulder. So so he's in a position to defend the ball rather than break on it and you get tangled up. And those kind of things are going to happen in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. First game, he's going up against one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah. Well. The fastest receiver in the league.
Mm-hmm. Again, this was another one where they kind of go a little bit deeper on like we saw earlier, where they're forcing Lenoir to kind of climb with him. He does a good job of staying right on his hip.
And this looks like it's cover one. Yeah, it's cover one.
Yeah, they ran a lot of cover one in this game.
They did. They ran a lot of cover one. A lot more than I thought that they were going to run.
It works out good with these rookies. These rookies are much better in this than they are. Well, at least Thomas is. I think he's better as a man guy than a zone guy.
Yeah, I think with this stuff though, I'm a big proponent of cover one. I just think that especially in the NFL when you get a lot of motion and stuff, you're going to run into some problems with how you treat motion. I mean, here they're you call it a wind or rotation of the safeties. Like when you get the motion, it looks like here they'll one safety will spin back up and then the other one will spin down, which is one way to handle it.
Yeah, because they got Maiden going back and the other one's coming up.
Yep. So Maiden's in now.
Yeah, and Thomas is as well down here on the bottom.
Yeah, this is a touchdown, but on the back side of it, I thought there was some confusion on this play because it looks like you get a corner route, and Maiden's there, but I'm not sure what Hufanga is doing down there. So he has to either help on that in breaking route, or someone needs to get with a corner. Is that Thomas needs to either? It looks like to me what should happen is the corner, he needs to come off of that outside receiver and get underneath the seven cut, and then Hufanga is responsible for the out. That's what it looks like. It looks like what should happen to me, because if the quarterback saw it, that corner is open too, the seven cut.
Right. So what you're talking about is if you look at it in the back corner of the end zone, you've got the guy coming up underneath, and over the top, and 20 should be falling back into that, whereas 29 should be going with the guy coming into the flat down here on the bottom of the
screen. 20 should be. I would want 20 like about right a little bit beyond that end zone line, right? So if the ball is thrown, he can get under the 7 cut, and then you've got Maiden on top of it. But Ambry Thomas would still be in position to help Hufanga with the I think if that's a back or a receiver that's running the out, he'd still be in position to break on the ball that's in front of him, and then Hufanga and Ambry can both break on that ball. So
yeah,
I think that they got lucky because Webb on the other side was just way out of position. But they need to figure it out on that backside. Looks like there's some confusion there. I don't think it was. I think Hufanga is a little bit out of position, but I think Thomas is more so.
Yeah, that's the back coming out in the flat. Because when you watch it, I hear what you're saying. Because you want, as we watch it run through down here at the bottom of the screen, you want 20 to be falling back.
Yeah.
Because you want it. Because if that ball was to be thrown to the corner, if it wasn't so wide open their side, he's throwing that ball to the corner. You want him to be able to come off and be able to make a play, kind of like what we saw Verrett do last year, right? There was one play where he had an interception on this in this end zone where he falls off of the receiver and makes the pick in the back of the end zone.
Maiden would have to probably make a really good play on that to break it up. I mean, if the ball was perfectly placed, there wouldn't be much he can do. Especially, I think that was a tight end, so you're talking about 4-inch difference there in height.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And now you've got all your rookies in the game. You've got Thomas on the bottom. You've got Lenore up top. Hufanga's deep, and then even Maiden, who's the second-year undrafted free agent. He's in the slot down here on the bottom of the screen.
Right. Okay. So it's a run. Neither of those guys are involved in the run in this play.
And that's the pick.
Right. Check that bottom of go back to the bottom. So it's Maiden. He's on the number 3 receiver. Is that Webb that's playing the nickel?
Yeah, he's playing the slot. So So you've got the Maiden's basically like your third, lined up like the third linebacker here.
Yep, and that's where we're talking about playing that B gap responsibility, right? So he's looking inside and keying that guard, and if he's going to get run, he's going to fit it. I saw this later on in the game, and I thought there was something there for the Chiefs because it looked like Maiden was keying a heavy run here, and they could have had numbers if they pulled it out and threw it to the bubble. Here, Webb took away the outside leverage, which was good, but on the previous play or on the play you'll see later, whoever the nickel is doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, and what would you say about it? I mean, I know he's there to make. He's. I don't know if that's great coverage, but he's doing.
No, that's just turning an offensive bad play and being in decent position, and then making catch. I wouldn't say he had great positioning or great cover. I think that if you were to highlight some of the plays that he's made in the game, that necessarily wouldn't be one of his best plays. It's just a big play because it's interception, but he does a better job on other routes.
Yeah, because he's not in great coverage there, but he's driving on the ball, and when it pops off, he's able to make the play. And then we still have all the young guys in here. Now we've got looks like they're not in their nickel, so.
Yeah, so I think at an in cut here. So I really like I wish I had the all 22 of the Chargers game because supposedly Maiden had like a 98 coverage grade, but look how sticky he is on this another 7 cut.
We're looking at which one again? We're looking at Maiden.
Maiden, yep.
Okay, so he's the safety.
Yeah, he's a safety, and he's covering. I think that's tight end in the slot.
Yep. Right about the 30-yard line there.
Like he's right on it. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've got really good coverage between him on that cut, and then watch Thomas and Hufanga take away the deep post.
Yeah, that's a nice bracket by Thomas and Hufanga.
Yeah.
Hufanga is one of those guys that he doesn't play at his 40 speed. He plays faster. Some guys play slower than their 40 speed, but Hufanga plays faster.
And why do you think that's the case?
I think some of it can be football instinct. Some of I think he might not have a great 40, but he might be more agile than he is straight line speed, recognition. He could also have just ran a bad 40 too.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the things I saw over at USC is like he looked like he ran a 4.6 when I watched him at USC, but I don't know. Now they've got him playing one high, and he looks like he can execute.
Yeah, they haven't played all over the place. It just depends on where they need him to go. That's one of the nice things about his. He's kind of the stereotypical guy that 49ers look for when it comes to that versatility, to be able to play high or low.
Right, and that play right there, that it looks like it was a hitch on Lenoir, right? Like that's not. Yes. I'm not going to kill Lenoir for that. It was like a 4-yard pass play. He kind of did what he was supposed to do. Is they're giving him that. You want to take 4 yards, take 4 yards, and he made the tackle almost immediately. So what you don't want to see there is the guy then breaking that thing and then going for another 10 or 20.
Right, turning that into a big play.
Right.
One of the things that I was impressed with Thomas in the last game was he gave up that deep shot down the right sideline that kind of put them in a bad spot. But then the very next play, the Chargers came back with a run at him, and he did a really nice job of coming up and stuffing that run. And it wasn't like he tackled the guy just around his ankles. He did a really good job of getting up into him and wrapping him up.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on Tom. I mean, obviously, it looks at this point Lenoir is the better player at this point, but I wouldn't necessarily give up on Thomas.
I think I agree with you, and I think Lenoir might be playing a little bit more inside as well. That'll be something for us to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I thought he would be a nickel when I saw his tape.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to take an eye and see what happens this week. But I think we might be seeing him become the backup nickel behind K1.
So here initially looks like that Maiden is beat, but he's watching the quarterback's eyes. So as soon as he sees the ball is loose, he's on top of that route. Now he sees the ball is loose and he releases to go assist with it. This is actually a really nice job. So if you look at it first, you're like, oh wow, he was in bad position. He had position on it, and he's looking at the quarterback, and he's on top of the route, and he can see the route through his peripheral. And now he sees the ball's thrown, and he's breaking.
Yeah, he's breaking.
It's a really nice job.
Yeah, depending on at what point in the play you see him, it might look like you said like he got beat, but he's in really good position. What do you think about Thomas down here at the bottom?
I think he's. I'd like for him to squeeze that a little tighter. It's a comeback. It's really the hardest route to defend, just because if you're worried about verticals. But I would like him to squeeze the air. If he squeezes the air out of that and kind of rides the hip of the receiver, he'll squeeze the air out of the route, and it'll be a lot harder to execute that comeback. So he's got to kind of be on the outside hip of that receiver, so he doesn't have so much room to work with there.
Yeah, he needs to be able to close that gap up a little bit quicker than he's doing here.
Yeah, and then he just takes a long time to break on it and come back. But I think you got to do your work early on that route. I think you got to be on that outside hip, forcing the receiver, forcing him closer to the sideline to make it a more difficult catch.
That's a pretty tough one though, too, don't you think? Considering I think it was 1st and 10 or something like that at this point, maybe second.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's only a 5-yard. It's like a 5-yard comeback out kind of route.
Those man coverage, or those routes are hard to defend. It's a hard throw for quarterbacks, and as a corner, you're worried about getting beat vertical. So what you don't want to see with Thomas is him getting the one in the Chargers game where he's getting beat deep. Like, those are the ones you don't want to see.
Yeah, where he gets his head turns around and he loses his man. He's right on his hip right there.
Yeah, that's a great job. See, I thought, and then it looks like that was a green dog by Hafanga. To me, he did. It's a little late on the recognition, right? It's like,
he's reading to see if it's pass or run. Is that what's happening here?
To me, it looks like if his responsibility is if the running back blocks, the he blitzes.
Gotcha.
So, but to me, it looks like he reads it a little late.
It didn't look like his eyes were ever in the backfield. Watch when he comes up, it looks like he's watching the tight end. Maybe I'm wrong. Doesn't it look like he's watching the tight end here? The tight end moves and his eyes kind of go with him.
Yeah.
Instead of reading the back. So maybe if he's supposed to be reading the back, maybe he just didn't have his eyes in the right spot.
Sometimes it's hard on this stuff because you don't really know exactly what their assignments are, and this is the almost pick by
53
Griffith. Yep. So yeah. The one thing I thought here was if you pause it here, I don't know why Maiden tilts, like he's tilting over the tight end. He should have done that probably a little sooner, because what you want to do is this is a zone, right? But they're giving the impression it's zero. So if you're in a zero look, this free safety has to cover one of those guys. So you want to give him the impression that he's gonna cover that tight end. So he tilts a little late, and then you're coming over and you're going to force the quarterback thinks he's got man, but it's not.
Yeah, so he thinks he's got a quick hot right there to him, but he doesn't because of the.
Yep, it's just one of the things. I mean, like I was someone that ran a lot of man and cover one a lot. Like if you're going to run that a lot from time to time, you should tilt your safeties just because you're going to give them. You don't want offenses to key on you to think that. Every safety tilt is a man indicator, or a man indicator or a blitz indicator. You got to
right. You want to be able to you're not disguising it at that point if you're doing it only when you're blitzing every time.
So that's Funga got in there a little bit. Maiden's on the opposite side. You've got Thomas is playing the nub. So even at times, which is interesting too, I know they had Sherman do it a lot last year in the past, is they'll put the corner on that nub, and even the corner sometimes will have a C gap run responsibility. I mean this is a pretty good job at Thomas here.
He's doing a better job of being right on a little bit more on him this time. Kind of like you said, he seems like he's got his hand on his hip the whole time.
Yeah, I don't like. It looks like he's late. He's late to react here. Right here, I'd like him to have a little quicker feet there, be able to change direction a little sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good coverage there.
That was pretty good. It would have had to been a really good throw to get to him. Just kind of falls on top of it at the end. Yeah, that was the.
I mean, there's Maiden right there again. Like he's on that route. Look at. I love the trend when you watch the transition, right? Look at him change leverage, get inside. Boom. Like
yeah, that is really good. That's kind of what you were talking about earlier with Hufanga, right? When he had the hill coming across, would be to kind of maybe be able to get up on him a little bit like this.
Yeah, I haven't seen them put him in man position, right? In a lot of man position. So. I mean, I haven't seen all 22 of the Chargers, but in this game, I don't recall one rep where he was ever in a man. But you'll see this throughout the game. It's Maiden just in great position almost every time.
Yeah, that's where his background as a corner really helps him out, huh?
Yes.
that was good coverage. The guy might have been able to catch that ball, but he thought it wasn't a good one. Good throw. Again, he's just right on top of him. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's especially as a rookie, like an undersized guy. I mean,
yeah, he's right on top of him. He's right.
That's exactly what you want to be right in that hip.
Fonga's back here. Lenore's kind of in tight. Not really part of the play.
Yep. They're out of it.
It's 3rd and 7. Now we're going to get some action here.
So I think Maiden's going to the post, and then you've got Hufanga as a robber there. So this is we were DMs, and this is what I saw as I think you'll see if Hufanga does start, is what they like to do is when they can or they like to let him be a robber and come down and do that.
Yeah, and that was us talking a little bit about that play against the Chargers where he comes down to replace the linebacker, but in this case, this is more of him. They're playing man coverage, and he's going to rob the middle of the field.
Yep, and they can do these sort of things that they can do. They can interchange the cover 3 buzz with this and let him. It's sort of do almost the same thing, but one's in a man. You're playing man coverage, and the other one you're playing zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing I think on that one would have been his angle maybe being a little bit more straight ahead than at the man.
Right, and on this, we're looking at Thomas. I know people like he got two in breaking routes on him, but I'm not going to kill him for this because look at the down and distance, right? What's the down and distance? Third and 7 long. 3rd and 7. So Thomas knows I don't want to get beat vertical. I can't give up the first down. Where's my help? I know I've got a robber in the middle of the field. If he beats me inside, I've got help. He knows that. So to me, this isn't terrible because he knows Hufanga's there. Hufanga's there, makes a stop. He just can't get beat outside and vertical.
Yeah. If he makes a little bit better angle on that one, he may be able to get a little better shot on that one.
Yep. So I see a lot of this in the game. I think but look at Maiden finish, right? So he will run and finish his run fit all the way through. So like he's not assuming the tackle's made, but look at I'm there.
Yeah, he's sitting over the top.
Yep. Like and that's kind of key. I think I see this with a couple players, but don't just always assume that the play is dead. Walk through, finish your run fits.
Yeah, like the good perfect example of that was what the 49ers with Deebo Samuel against the Rams, right? In the Sunday night game last year when it looked like he was down and he wasn't. He just kept running down the sideline.
Yep.
That's a good play by Hufanga to force that up inside.
Force the in cut. It's just by that little shoulder dip to take away the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really nice bracket here. I think you've got, I think it was Thomas. You've got 2 verticals out over here. Is that Thomas at the bottom and then Maiden? And then I see it's Maiden, right?
Yeah, so you got Thomas at the bottom, and then right inside of him and deeper is Maiden.
Yeah, so you gotta let these guys declare, and then there you go. Now you've got it's bracketed, and then they release help down there.
Yeah, all three of those guys are playing deep because it's a 2nd and long here. They do a really good job of staying over the top of everything.
It's 3rd and 16. False start.
Yep.
it's so important in the secondary to just know down and distance, to know what you can give up, what you can't. That's Hufanga making a nice tackle there.
Yeah, this is the third and 23, and so they just dumps it off, and then this is a really nice tackle because if he doesn't make this tackle right here, it's a first down, possibly. He might actually Webb might have been able to make the play, but he does a good job of seeing it and taking a good angle.
Yep, you can take away that. Whoever that guy was, you see, the thing is, like, I can't tell who that was, but I think it was a linebacker, it was a nickel. Can't lose the outside leverage on that, so he goes inside of it, and then
that's the linebacker.
Yep. And then whoever there's deep.
Mm-hmm.
30,
it's going to be 53 here. I think is going to.
That's Griffith. So he's got to come on outside leverage on that and force him back to the other way.
Yeah, because when you watch it, let's pause it real quick. Because you want to if you when you're coming up to make these tackles, if you take it right, if he's got this route a little bit more to his right, instead of, you see how he's having to take off and he's having to run back to his right. If he has taken the proper angle, he's going to be able to cut that right back up into.
I used to drill that with the secondary and linebackers, and is deal, have 2 to 3 players, and you have 2 to 3 players, and make sure you get that triangulation where if you got one person on one side and you want to force the cut back to the other side, and you don't want to lose relation to the ball carrier and then the other defender. You want to force it back to the other defender. You guys don't want to end up both on the same side of the offensive player.
Yep. And what I like about this one is we've talked a lot about Hufanga's foot speed. That's one of the things he gets a knock for. But he does a good job. He's chasing down a jet right here. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a really nice job. That's him just making a play. And he definitely takes great angles. Like he's the, I think Grant said it, but he's the anti-Moore, right? Tavarius Moore.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because that's the one area that we always talked about with Moore was his, taking bad angles and getting beat because he's got a bad angle. Kind of like what 53 did there, right? On that play. That's what Moore would usually do. Just another little quick hitch.
I mean, quick hitch. It's not terrible. I thought, and it's not terrible. Would you like the corner to take that away? But I mean, if I'm the corners coach or I'm the DB coach, I just don't want my young guys to get beat deep.
He does a good job here on the little double, kind of little stutter move to stick with him on this one, though.
Yeah, I do think if you walk that back and if you go on the top side, I think they do a nice job of working these routes out on that top side.
On this play here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Maiden. I think it's Maiden, Hufanga, and then Griffith. I think the only one thing I would say on that is I think someone looks like there should have helped on that end cut. I don't know. I think it was Griffith or either Griffith or Maiden should have helped out a little on 12 before.
Kind of squeeze that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the coverage is. If it's just straight man, then it should have been Maiden. See, it looks like it's straight man there and Maiden's on it. Yeah, so you'll see an in cut by there, so he's on it there.
Yeah, that's Harrison, the linebacker. And then they're going to down it here. Now Hufanga's out.
Yeah, so you've got Maiden over that. He's a B gap player here.
Yeah, now the only guy in here right now that we've been talking about is at the top of the screen. It looks like that's still Thomas that's in the game.
Yep, and Maiden's there. So you got Thomas, and then I mean, if you watch, and this is one of the things I tweet about. I tweet about him is like, he's not. He had the pick the last game, but like, Maiden's on everything. Like, he's doing his job. Here, Thomas. I mean, he gives us display. He's got to be on that top side shoulder. And then work his like if you're in decent position, then he can work through and rake through that hand. But now he's not even in a position where he can do it because the offensive player is just up and vertical. He's not really going to get his hand through on that.
Mm-hmm. How could he have gotten in a better position here?
Well, I always say as you got to do your work early, right? So like let's look here. Okay, so does he have? I can't tell. First of all, he probably should be outside leverage on it now. But the kid, he's breaking outside. Okay, good here. He's got to close.
It's kind of like you said before. It's like you said before, where he's not on top of him enough.
Yeah, to me, there's too much air between him and the receiver.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
Right.
On top. He's obviously on top of him because he's vertically on top of him. He's not getting beat deep, but
we're good here. Right, we're good here. Now close. He needs to close earlier.
Yeah, he needed to do that. Kind of take the air out of, like you said before, take that air out of the route a little earlier. Right.
Yep.
It's a good way of. That's a better way of kind of explaining closing that gap.
Yeah, on a lot of this stuff, on a lot of routes, to me, I think the failure to the corner, a lot of it happens early. Like you're not as a corner, you got to do your work early, and that'll put you in position late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we always see the end of the play, right? That's always what we focus on.
Right.
We don't see what's going on earlier on, with that kind of got them into that position to start with. And that's just away from everybody.
So looks like Maiden's deep. Maiden
was deep, and Thomas was over the top of the
of
the other guy out to the right side there.
Yeah, that's another one I'd like. Whoever is there did do a great job of maintaining the leverage on that tackle. He should have been outside. It looks like it's man.
Were there any other specific plays in this one that you wanted to show?
There was a one late where I thought Maiden did a really good job of finding work on a play late.
Fourth quarter.
I wish I'd written it down. I think it might have been fourth. I mean, he's fitting or helping fit in a run fit.
On that backside, like you were talking about.
Yep, just finish. I mean, the tagging a guy. He also does a nice job, I think, on a bubble later in the game.
Okay. Again, just a little hitch again to.
Yeah, they're just working these corners outside. I mean, if you want to give me like death by 1,000 paper cuts, like cool, go ahead, do it.
Show me that you can do it all the way down the field.
Yeah,
right?
To me, I'm like, I think offensive coordinators get bored and they won't keep doing it. So.
Mm-hmm. Man, linebacker.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we've noticed with 36 is he tends to struggle with man coverage, even though he's a safety playing linebacker.
Yeah, you think you're getting better coverage that way. I mean, but here it is. That's a nice job. I still think Maiden comes in. He tackles a little high, but he makes tackles. So
Yeah. He gets him wrapped up and
yep.
starts ripping for the ball.
So there you go. So like right now we've seen him on. He can tackle. He's been on his coverage.
That's going to just be a tough position though to make the roster when you look at if they only keep 4 safeties. You've got
and look, it's late, but he even forced the ball loose. I think they're going to have a tough decision because it's almost like, can you keep 5? Can you keep 5? And how many corners did they keep last year? 6?
Yeah.
Can you keep 5 safeties and 5 corners? And maybe, because Ward and Maiden can play corner if necessary.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the spots to look at. If they decide that they're going to keep only two quarterbacks, that means they're going to have an extra player that they can keep on the roster. So, maybe it's an extra safety that they go with,
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, between this game and the other game, I think that Maiden's played well enough to where he's going to be on a roster if they waive him. And he's a guy that I think, he's shown development, and he's probably he's one of your most athletically gifted safeties. So
yeah, he definitely looks like a player. That's for sure. I mean, he's always around the ball. You can tell that he's coached up pretty well coming to the 49ers. He really looks good. I would
love to see them play him with the starters to see what he can do, because to me, like, if you're Tavon Wilson is a nice player, but if Maiden can be as solid as Tavon Wilson, like, he can develop, and you're getting a better athlete there.
Sure. Yeah. He's faster and everything like that. So that makes a ton of sense. Especially if you're looking at that guy, it'd have to be a core special teamer or what have you.
Yeah, we don't have the all 22 on special teams, so it's hard for me to. I haven't really seen where he plays in special teams, or if I'm sure he does, but I haven't seen where he plays in specials.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I got to wrap this up because we're about almost an hour in.
I didn't know. There's a play where they're going. I know it's in the opposite. It's in the opposite direction. The drive in the opposite direction.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see.
Hopefully we can catch it. It's what I wanted to point out is hopefully if we can catch it, is where it happens late in I think the quarterback extends the down and Maiden's playing middle of the field, and he does a really nice job of finding the in cut in the end zone. It's a little later because it's in the end zone.
Okay, let's see where we.
So.
It's on their touchdown drive.
Yeah, I know that the play was in the end. The play was in the end zone.
Okay. We'll find it here. So he's actually making the play with the ball in the end zone, though, not near it. It's actually in there.
It's this play. It's this play right here. So it's just Well, look at him back there. He doesn't come up and assume it's run. Watch him find the one receiver. Look, he sees everything short in there. Watch him find the receiver and cut underneath on the guy on the bottom of the screen. Watch. He's going to cut underneath it so the quarterback can't make that throw. It's a lot of these little things that add up, and why I say that he's very sound. Like, I think a lot of safeties, especially young safeties, would try to come up and maybe run down there to run or just literally sit in the middle of the field. I know people, a common thing that we say in secondary coaches is say find work. Well, this is what he's finding work. that he undercuts that in cut in the end zone. So you have some of these quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. We saw in the Super Bowl, they're going to run around, on a play and run 50 yards in one play, and then all of a sudden they haul it up and the guy's wide open in the end zone. Well, if you have some heady DBs, you can cut down on some of those plays.
Yeah, he does a really nice job on this one, like you're saying. When you watch, he's keeping his eyes in the backfield. He's got that deep middle. The guy that's cutting underneath, that's the other safety's responsibility. He doesn't bite on that at all. He continues his backpedaling. Quarterback starts to move. He's looking around to see where his he's still got his eyes in the backfield, but he can see this receiver over here, so he knows where the one threat to him is. He just does a really nice job of floating over there.
And he's right there. So if that ball's up, he's helping.
Yeah.
So to me, I just think they're going to have. We touched on it before. They're going to have a decision to make with those safeties. If they can keep 5, and you touched on it before. Is if I was them, I would not put Sudfeld on this roster because you're going to lose a really, really good player, just because you want to have 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have 3, and they even talked about that. They asked Kyle Shanahan a question about that today, and even they asked him, the question that they asked him was, does having Lance and Garoppolo both play maybe change your thinking on what you do with a third receiver or third quarterback? Yeah, and he said no, it doesn't, because you're only going to dress 2 of them on game day anyway. So I think that's the direction that they've been looking all along. I think that's why Grant's mentioned this a number of times, and I think he's right. I think that's why they gave him the signing bonus that they did, was to kind of offset what his lower salary is going to be once he hits the practice squad. It's like, hey, we're going to put you on the practice squad, but we're going to give you $500K to kind of make up the difference for you here.
Right, and nobody's going to scoop him off the practice squad. I mean,
right? No, yeah, nobody's going to want to say, hey, come, yeah, because if they do that, he's got to be on the active roster.
Yeah, they're going to have some decisions to make. Especially, I mean, I know it's not an issue now, right? But like when in week 6, when Jordan Willis comes back, I mean, do you want to release Arden Key? I mean,
right.
I mean, can they find a way to keep 5 defensive ends? And then, we just talked about Maiden. I think he's playing really well. And if Tart is coming back, you're going to have a decision to make is do you want to keep – can you keep 5 safeties? Obviously, Lenore – you're not going to cut your draft picks. They're not going to cut Lenore. They're not going to cut Thomas, and they're not going to cut Afanga. Honestly, those three have actually shown enough to like. I'm not going to. You wouldn't want to cut them anyways, but
right.
I think they've got some decisions to make, which is not a terrible thing, especially they coming in. I think both of us questioned their secondary.
Yeah, no. I know we both did, because I was questioning with all the rookies and everything. Those did a lot of young guys, but those young guys have really, to me, seemed like they've stepped up to kind of fill that void.
Yeah, maybe they should have drafted 2 guards, right? Or 3 guards.
another offensive lineman on top of it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I really appreciate you jumping on with me today to do this. This is fun, and then hopefully we'll be able to get the all-22 here pretty soon. I don't know what.
Please, the NFL figure your thing out, man. Like, this is killing all of us. I know. Like, we have to go through back channels to get whatever all 22 that we can. Like, it should be available for us.
It shouldn't be as hard as this is. We shouldn't be making back alley deals to get all 22.
No, I mean, ESPN has it.
But ESPN's paying a lot more money than all of us little schmucks are paying. Our $99 a month subscription costs. They're paying. Well, I think that's. I really my conspiracy theory is that part of the reason why we've lost it. But we'll see. Hopefully, they said at one point that it might be back around the start of the year. I don't think that's the case, but hopefully they'll get it back at some point this season.
Hope so.
Yeah. But really appreciate you taking the time, Coach, to jump on. And I know you're going to be on again later on today. So with Grant, I believe, at 7.
Yes, I'll be on with Grant in an hour.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for jumping on. Thank all of you who've watched today. And we'll be back at you, Coach and I, at some point this season with some more game film for you guys to check out. So thanks for for joining, and have a great day, everybody.
Yep. See you.